Hey, so this is actually going to be part two. Okay, I'm going to do a few more practice problems with you. And on these, because I've already gone through some, I'm going to go a little bit quicker, but you guys can kind of check it out. And I will go as quickly as I can in regards of like actually being able to write quickly. Unfortunately, this app does not offer like a typing program along with it. So, anywho, all right, so my formula is over of equals percent out of 100, right? No matter what, it's always that, okay? So I'm going to look over here and my first problem, I always say look for your percent. It's going to be the number that has the percent sign attached to it. I have 57 is 95% of what? Okay, so the 95%, 95 literally has it attached. So I'm going to erase my percent sign. And that's where my 9 to 5 is going to go. Okay. I'm filling in my formula right now with what I know. Okay. And then 57 is, so it's literally right next to the word. That means 57 is going to be my part. And the only thing that I have left over, oh Lord, it like froze on me, is the of, right? And it says of what? So the of is going to be my variable, right? And that means I am looking for the total in this problem, right? I know the part, I know the percent, I don't know the total, okay? 57 is 95% of what total number, okay? That's what I'm looking for. So again, I said I was gonna go a little bit quicker. So I filled in my formula. Now I'm gonna go through and cross multiply. I'm doing my line. That's optional, but I love it. I'm going to cross multiply starting with my variable. So I know that I'm going to do 95 times x, and I just shove them together because that's how I write it now, wearing my big girl pants. And I'm going to cross multiply the other way, right? So if you can actually read my handwriting, 57 times 100, 5,700. Okay. And the very last step I know I need to do is to be able to isolate my variable. So I have to do the opposite. Right now I'm multiplying by 95. So I need to divide by 95. Okay. And whatever I do to one side, I got to do the other. So this is literally the only thing that I have to actually solve out. Okay. This cancels out and gives me 1x, right? And in my handy dandy calculator off to the side that they give me because it's the real world and we all use calculators, right? I'm going to take 5,700 and divide by 95 and I got 60, okay? So my answer is x equals 60. And just because it says that doesn't mean I'm automatically correct. I need to go through and see, does that logically make sense? So again, look back up at the top. Is 57 out of 60 about 95%? Does that sound logically right? Well, 57 is almost 60. So for it to be 95% seems correct to me. So I'm going to go ahead and go with that answer and I'm going to type it up here. Okay. On to part 2. What percent of 40 is 22? Okay, so what percent of 40 is 22? I went ahead and I wrote out my formula, right? Step 1 is to fill in the parts, okay? So whenever I do it, I always look for the percent sign first. That's the easiest one to like clue out. And I don't even see a percent sign, right? It actually says what next to my percent. So I know that my percent is actually going to be my variable because it's my what. Okay, so I'm going to write my x. I always use x as my variable. You do not have to. And then if I keep looking, my of 40 is 22. So they're literally right next to one another. So I'm going to fill my blanks, right? My is was 22 and my of was 40. Okay. And what does that mean mathematically? Like, I hope you're like catching on to this. Your is on top, right? Your is your part, right? So part is 22 and my total or my of is 40. So I have 22 out of 40. What percent is that? That's all I'm looking for. Okay. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to cross multiply. I like my little line down the middle. I like to start with my variable first. So I'm going to do 40 times x. Can't actually solve it because we don't know what x is. So I'm just putting 40x, right? 40 times x. And then to cross multiply the other way is just 2,200. Okay, it's literally just 22 with 2 zeros added onto it because I'm multiplying by 100. Okay, so I filled in my formula. I cross multiplied, and now I only have one step left, and that is to isolate my variable. So I have to do the opposite operation. Right now I'm multiplying by 40. So I need to do the opposite of multiplying, which is dividing. So I'm going to divide by 40. Right? And that cancels it out. 40 over 40 is 1. 1x is what I'm left with over here. And then whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other because it's an equation, so you have to be equal, right? So again, no reason to get this part wrong, right? I'm going to go over using my handy dandy calculator. I have 2,200 divided by 40, and I get 55. Okay. And I'm not just going to be like, well, that's what it says. So that's what I'm going to write. It's 55, but I'm going to check to see if it's logical. Okay. 55% is like roughly half, right? Is 22 roughly half of 40? It sure is. So I'm going to go with it. Okay. I'm actually going to type it in. So 55. And on here, I am trying to find the percent, right? So because I was looking for the X up here. So I need it to be 55%. Okay. And that's it. That's it for this short little video. I hope it helped.